All right, well, I've completed week 2 of proton radiation therapy, and so far, I'm still very blessed. I haven't had a lot of side effects so far. I am definitely starting to feel it, and my mouth is definitely drier. And I talked to the doctor on Wednesday for the second time, and he said to definitely expect to start having some soreness in my mouth, maybe some actual sores, and dryness of the mouth, difficulty swallowing. That's just a part of it, and I knew that was coming. Yesterday, for the first time, I got sick, and I didn't talk to the doctor, but I talked to the proton radiation therapist, and I asked him if that was normal. Do you get nauseated during this process? And he said that it wasn't normal, that not everyone has that type of side effect, but it's not completely uncommon. Everyone is different. Everyone gets treated different. You just got to remember that they are pouring very high amounts of radiation into my neck. So, it can do anything to anybody. And yesterday I got sick, and the worst thing about it is I got sick in front of Haven. I've tried my best to act as if nothing's going on with Haven, although we did tell her. I set her down at the very beginning, and I said, hey, I'm sick. And at the time I thought I was going to do chemo and radiation at that time when I set her down. And I said, I'm going to get sick. It's going to be a hard time. I wanted her to know and be prepared for it. But I told her, I said, I'm going to be okay. I tried to be, let her know the truth, but try to be as optimistic as possible. So yesterday when I did, it just came on me all of a sudden. I was kind of feeling queasy, but then all of a sudden, man, it was not pretty. And she saw it, and I felt so bad that she saw it. And I just, once I cleaned everything up, I just told her, hey, man, I'm going to be sick. That's a part of what's going on, but I'm going to be okay. That's what I kept telling her. So, as always throughout this process, I've wanted my best to try to figure out a way to glorify God, and I don't know how to do that. I keep saying that, I don't know. The only thing I know to say, or the only thing I know to do, is to try to remain as optimistic and not be pessimistic and negative throughout this thing. And that's not easy. It's not easy to to question, why me, oh me, all that kind of stuff. And I've had those moments, of course, man, this, to be blunt, this sucks, to be in this situation. But a couple of things help me, to know that there's people praying for me. That's a big uplifting blessing in my life, because I do know people are praying for me. I know people love me, and as I've said before, I know there's a lot of people that can't stand me, and I get that, and that's fine. But I know that there's more people that love me than can't stand me. I believe that. And the other thing is, when I go to that clinic, I've explained the process. I go in there and I check in. I have to wait for 30, 40 minutes, sometimes an hour. Then I go back to a waiting room, and while I'm in the waiting room, I take my top off and put a gown on, and then the guy or person before me will come out, and then I'll go in. And while I'm in the waiting room, I've had an opportunity now throughout these 2 weeks to talk to several people and to see other people and their physical condition that they're in. And it's very obvious that I am blessed. There's people in there that are struggling to survive, to live. And I know, as I'm sitting here talking about this, I know that a certain percent of those people will not make it. They will die from this disease. And they may not have the specific disease I had, but obviously all of them have some sort of condition that's causing them to have radiation, and most of that's cancer. So everyone I've talked to has some sort of cancer somewhere, and the one thing that happened to me this week, try not to get emotional, but when I was in that waiting room waiting, the person that was in there being radiated, having the radiation treatment, that person usually is a full-grown man or woman, comes walking out on their own 2 feet. But in this case, this one particular day, a little boy came out in a gurney and laying on a gurney, and he was obviously heavily sedated. He didn't have any hair on his head, and I won't guess he was probably 8 to 10 years old. I don't know. And of course, they won't tell you the condition or anything about the person, and I didn't even ask. But that poor little boy was, looked pretty bad to me. I don't know. I mean, but he looked like he was in pretty bad shape, and I just think about all he's being robbed of, all the things he's being robbed of by having to deal with this thing. It's no big deal for me. I honestly believe I'm going to be fine and I'm going to survive this. But even if I don't, as I've said before, I've lived such a blessed life. I mean, I have had the most fairy tale life of most anyone that I know. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that's the way I feel. I've lived such an amazing life. I've done amazing things that very few people have been able to do. And, I've been blessed with a lot of friends, loving family, the most precious wife and children. So I'm good. I keep saying it, I'm good. Don't mean to get emotional now, but to think about it. To think about all the good things that God has given me. And the most important thing is He's given me the knowledge, the belief, the 100% belief in my mind that I'm going to heaven when I die. At the end of this deal, as I've said before, when the whistle blows at the end of this ride, that's a rodeo reference, but when the whistle blows at the end of this ride, I know where I'm going. It's a blessing. And to still to be healthy right now. I mean, so what, I got sick a little bit yesterday, to still be this healthy while I'm dealing with this, it's just another blessing that God has given me. He just over and over and over again has blessed me in my life, and very few people deserve it less than I do. I mean, I'm not someone who deserves the blessings that I've had. Sorry. But anyway, so that's my way of glorifying God, I think, is by remaining positive, remaining strong, which I admitted in this last little video I did. It's easy to do when I'm not sick or I'm not in a lot of pain and stuff like that, but that's coming. I'm going to get a little bit of that. And when I do, my biggest prayer I'd ask, is that I can remain strong and faithful during that time, and that my personal relationship with Christ will continue to strengthen. So hey, week 2 done. All's good. And pray for all those other people. And there's so many people that are, way off, way better, way worse off than I am. People watching this, I know several people who are dealing with way worse things than I'm dealing with. So praise God for that. For me, anyway. And I pray that those people will understand that whatever they're dealing with, some of them are, there's no question, some of them are already going through this with God's guidance. But for those who aren't, man, you need to wake up. And you need to seek the answers and the strength through the word of Jesus Christ. Hey, that's my message. Have a great day.